Namaskar and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 30 of the Diversey BW Hotelier, the GM Show, Season 2. Today, Friday, December 8, 2023. I don't think I have done 4 shows on any location as yet. This is the 4th show that we are doing on Rajasthan alone. So gather the importance of Rajasthan. Earlier I did 3 shows on Goa. Today we complete 4 on Rajasthan. These are 2 states which are the shining stars of our hospitality, travel and tourism industry, and which have pitched India right at top of the pyramid. Today the topic is extremely important: heritage havens, elevating luxury hospitality in Jodhpur, Jaisalmer, Ajmer and Pushkar. Now, we've taken these 4 important locations for today's show, and this show will be graced by 5 important leaders, general managers of various properties in these locations. Before I move any further, let me bring in my partner to the series, Diversey. Thank you, Diversey. Thank you for all your support. Now, our show is held every Thursday and Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. I'm sure you blocked your time. For those of you who've not watched the show live, you can watch the recordings on weBBlast.com and across our social media platforms. Now, this series is already a winner. This is the first time we've touched the number of 30 episodes, and there are many more to come. Now, before I proceed any further, let me just give a brief introduction to the topic of the show. Today, we uncover the allure of heritage havens in Rajasthan as we show the spotlight on Jodhpur, Jaisalmer, Ajmer and Pushkar. This episode delves into the operational intricacies faced by general managers in elevating luxury hospitality against the backdrop of ancient forts and spiritual fervor. Join us in exploring the delicate balance between traditions and innovation, where each city's unique charm is a canvas of crafting unparalleled guest experiences. Let me now straight away get rolling with the show with a brief introduction to all the GMs who are there. First in is Saurabh Thakur. Saurabh Thakur is the General Manager of the Radisson Jodhpur. Welcome to the show, Saurabh.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Bhuvnesh ji. It's my pleasure, to be on BW Hotelier series. I think it's a fantastic initiative by you. I am attending this first time. Very, very excited and looking forward, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for being there, Saurabh. Next in is Jitendra Singh Shekhawat. He's the General Manager of the Welcome Heritage Balsaman Lake Palace. Welcome to the show, Jitendra.
Kamagadi, sir. I would like to say thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here, sir.
Delighted to have you here, Jitendra.
Thank you, sir. Same here.
Next in is Shiv Bose. He comes in from Jaisalmer. Shiv is the General Manager of the Jaisalmer Marriott Resort and Spa. Welcome to the show, Shiv.
Hi, Bhuvnesh. Thank you for having me, and a good afternoon to all the viewers. I think it's great to be in this show. It's an elevated platform, and I'm truly grateful. Thank you.
Thank you for being there and for gracing our show. You elevate our show. Thank you, Shiv. Next in is Devendra Ratnawat, who's the General Manager of the Pratap Mahal Ajmer IHCL selections. Another solid hotelier with years behind him and a great asset to govern. Welcome to the show, Devendra.
Thank you, Bhuvnesh. It's nice to be on this show. It's a privilege and an honor. Thank you very much.
You make our show look so good. Thank you, Devendraji, for coming. Last but not the least, my good friend from Pushkar, Gaurav Sekhri, who heads the Western Pushkar Resort and Spa. Welcome to the show, Gaurav.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Bhuvnesh, for inviting me on this show. It is a pleasure to be on this episode.
Thank you, Gaurav. Those are very kind words. Ask me a few days ago, and I would have told you it's impossible to bring all these 4 locations on one single platform. And I'm delighted I'm able to do this because they're all interconnected. Saurabh, if I may roll in with the first question and set the tone of the show with a question to you, if you may permit.
Absolutely, sir. Good to go.
All right, now, Saurabh, Jodhpur is a magnet for opulent weddings. The very best weddings have happened in Jodhpur. The who's got wedded over here, from the international arena or domestic. Media czars, creative czars, and industrialists. So let's get unveiling the allure that attracts high-profile Indian weddings, drawing the elite and celebrities globally. If you can throw some light on it, please.
Absolutely, sir. I think, Jodhpur, as you rightly said, a lot of celebrities, are getting wedding done at Jodhpur. To name some, we had Priyanka Chopra, Parinidhi Chopra's sister. They are very, very active on social media, and people are watching, them making those reels, the kind of romance, the heritage, the look of the Jodhpur, the blue city, which brings, and which make it very, very authentic, which you will not find in city hotels. So I think that's really, really, when people are watching, and we are getting in a lot of queries at Jodhpur, from various states. So I think the future is very, very bright of, big fat weddings and, Indian celebrity weddings happening at our places. To add on, I think a little bit to talk about Jodhpur. It's known for being a blue city, the kind of heritage hotels that we have, a lot of luxury hotels, naming Taj Harimel, our hotel, Radisson Jodhpur. I think it's a fantastic hotel. We do a lot of buyouts of weddings. We have got huge banqueting space at our hotel. Food, I want to mention, which it's not only about dal bati churma or Rajasthan. When you walk down the streets of Jodhpur, you will find delicacies like a gulab jamun ki sabzi or a rasmalai ki sabzi.
I think some issue with your audio, but it'll be okay.
Atmosphere, the natural heritage scenery, best place. So I was attending.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of about.
Saurabh, I think some issue with your broadband. All right, let Saurabh fix this. I think he's frozen. Jitendra, if I might come in to you, with your question, games of polo are natural to Jodhpur. And there is also a cultural attraction. If you can help us in understanding how polo tournaments contribute to the cultural fabric of these cities, attracting enthusiasts from around the world. You're muted, Jitendra. Unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, polo is originated from China. But as per history, India originated the polo game. So every year we are doing the polo in the Jodhpur. So lots of people are coming from every state, every country, and they are watching. So some interesting things are there. Polo is always played on horseback. So people are wearing the pant. Still everywhere people are calling like Jodhpuri pant. And in the polo, they are taking a round. So rounds everywhere in every country, people are calling chakra.
Yeah.
So doesn't matter they are in France, doesn't matter they are in New Zealand, but everybody are calling a chakra. That's started from Jodhpur. Where British came in Jodhpur first time, they have seen a lancer, that's a cavalry regiment.
Yeah.
So they have seen the Marwadi horses. They
No,
see,
we know about the game of polo. What I'm really interested in is knowing how does polo attract the international traveler to Jodhpur.
yes, sir.
I know about the game of polo. I played it myself, so yeah.
Yes, sir. Actually, people are coming from other different countries, so they are watching the culture of Jodhpur or Rajasthan. Like lots of people are horse lover. They are coming and they are giving a good business to hotels, and people are buying the Jodhpuri suit, Jodhpuri pants. So it's helping the tourism also.
All right. Thank you, Jitendra. Shiv, I want to pick on your mind. You know, it's a rather it's I've actually packed in two questions, if I may, pass them on to you. I want to pick on the culinary mastery of Rajasthan. Jaisalmer is also huge. Jaisalmer, you had one of the finest hotels there. Help me unveil the challenges and opportunities faced by culinary teams, chefs and F&B staff in catering to the discerning palates of high-profile guests.
So thank you, Bhuvnesh, for the question. I think let me start with the con first and then I'll tell you the pros. I think the con that I fancy out here is the sensibilities, because when you talk about royalty, and all my panelists spoke highly about the Rajasthan royalty aspect of it. So the culinary also takes the same kind of a wind. And the concern that we face is at times is to get the sensibilities of team members towards that royalty, because with the current team members that we get, it takes a lot of orientation to get those fancy sensibilities in place that the royalty can be served in the right manner. So that is a kind of a con, if I may say. The pros factor being that in terms of what we serve and the elaborateness of the menu, like from the lal mas to the local cuisines to the kher sangris and the other flavorful, wonderfully Jodhpuri chicken that we serve. So there are a lot of these small aspects that we put together. There's this wonderful thali that we serve in Vaira, which is a rooftop venue, which is a big hit. We serve at least about 15 to 20 thalis a day. And then people just go for it because they see the royalty aspect of it put forward in a silver platter. So I think the culinary aspect does invite people to go for what we have to offer. And we also are doing something called as a Maki Rasoi, which is very enticing because that's an extension to the buffet. And we call in local villagers to cook the food for us. So there are two women who do it in the traditional format, and they're just sitting outside the restaurant. And we have a dance sequence along with that and the cultural program. So the guests see them cooking at work, and eventually the food transpires to their respective tables. So I think the culinary aspect is great. It attracts a lot of tourism, but the con is a sensibility in terms of getting all the team aligned. And especially because I have season and off season, and then I lose team members off season and they come back on season. Jaisalmer is a very peculiar market. It's not a 365-day market as an Udaipur or a Jodhpur or a Jaipur is. So that sensibility drafting becomes a kind of a con for me. Otherwise, I think the food is what we actually sell very good towards getting the banqueting right.
So that's very interesting to hear. Brand Jaisalmer is as strong as a brand as Ajmer, Pushkar, Jodhpur, Udaipur, or Jaipur. Rajasthan by itself is a universe. Also tell me, if you can, let me pick on your mind since you've picked this topic. The fusion of flavors, how do chefs blend traditional Rajasthani cuisine with global influences to create unique and memorable dining experiences?
I'll tell you this, what we do is many times the food is very repetitive, because we have a certain sequence of Rajasthani food that we serve. So what we're doing is trying to blend this in terms of desserts. Like, let me give you a case in point. There's this wonderful laddu that you should have when you're in Jaisalmer called the Gotua laddu, right? Oh. And that is only found in Jaisalmer. It's a minced laddu and made with desi ghee, and a lot of shops serve it out here. But what we're trying to do is in summer, we made a Gotua ice cream out of it. So we take the laddu, we take a vanilla ice cream, and we try to mix it together to create a unique flavor, which is a go-to ice cream. So things like these, we're also working with a lot of local flavors here, and we're trying to see how we can take it to the next level. But that is work in motion, because the chefs have to continuously strive towards getting that flavor and the taste right. If I can give you one more example, like yesterday when I was taking an order, and that was very interesting, and this was in Vaira, a vegetarian guest said to me, "Can I have a paneer, but not in a makhni gravy, but in a lal mas gravy, right? Because I want to taste what that flavor is, but I can't have meat." Now, unfortunately, a lal mas gravy is made with mutton stock, right? So we had to recurate it to a certain degree, right? And my chef gave the basic answer saying that usko chatpata banana hai basically, paneer makhani ko. So I said, yeah, if you can just go closer to a lal mas, but not a lal mas, and just give him a flavor of that. So I think we face these challenges on and off. And now that we are redoing menus of my specialty restaurant, we're doing more of these things where we're actually taking local cuisines and trying to build it together. Very quickly, I want to say this to you. Last month, we served the royal family out here. There was this panorama editions which was happening at the fort. And we got this wonderful opportunity to do a buffet for lunch and dinner. And ironically, they said we don't want anything traditional because we have been serving it for years, right? So give us a twist. And then we did a chicken mas and not a lal mas, So we had to change things. The starters were a little different. They didn't want the regular starters that every Rajasthani household serves. They didn't want the bajre ki roti. They said, if you can do a twist. So we did the galotis with the bajra at the base, right? So, we keep on doing these multiple things, but yeah, the scope is too large. I think if someone is very creative in the culinary panorama, he or she can really curate wonderful dishes, which we're trying to every passing day.
So, Shiv, is that a challenge or an opportunity?
I think it's an opportunity because I take that as a wonderful opportunity for the chef to actually open his mind and the F&B folks to say, what else can we do today, right?
And we have to think and innovate on our feet.
Absolutely.
Right?
And this cuisine gives you that space. Mind you, this cuisine gives
I am a vegetarian and I'm coming for this masala thing.
Paneer mas.
Well, not paneer masala, whatever you call it. Thank you, Chef. That's a great input on Rajasthan and Jaisalmer and Rajasthani cuisine from a Bengali.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, you've taken to it like fish takes to water. Let me now get in with you, Devenderji. You are a local. You're somebody who's a son of a soil. I can't but resist ask you a few things about Ajmer and Pushkar. Sorry, Gaurav, I'm pushing a bit of Pushkar with him. So tell me, there is a spiritual fervor in Ajmer and Pushkar both, right? Both of them for different lines of thought. If you can help capturing the spiritual essence of Ajmer and Pushkar, where colors, traditions, and Gayati come together in a unique tapestry, throw some light on it. And what does it mean for hospitality, travel, and tourism by being a very strong magnet, which is 365 days a year?
All right. Thank you, Bhuvnesh, for asking that question.
Please.
And I was quite impressed by Shiv, the way he's been doing it, Jaisalmer. Shiv, even I'm going to join Bhuvnesh one day for paneer mas.
वो चलेंगे इकट्ठे.
Now to tell you about Pushkar, fortunately or unfortunately, in Rajasthan, we have these regions which are more popular, the Marwar, Mewar, and Jaipur, which is called Dhundar. Ajmer being in the center of all three did not get so much of attention in terms of tourism, I think in the initial stages.
Yeah.
Thanks to the cattle fair, or what do you say, the Pushkar Mela, which has been ongoing for 150 years, which was more to do by these people, villagers and folk people around it, who would come during the month of Kartik, which is an auspicious month for bathing in the Pushkar Lake, which is called the Tirthraj, or of all the Tirths, this is the name. And slowly, I think that is how it got its attention, and Pushkar became a destination. And fortunate now that the things are getting better for Pushkar, the number of hotels coming in and people coming in. Talking about in terms of when you say spiritual, you need to understand that in case to understand the place, the culture, the myth, the religion, and all that, you need to actually be in the place and be around and walk around the place. If you actually come for a day in Pushkar, it's not enough. And people should not associate only two destinations with Pushkar or Ajmer, that is Dargah Sharif and Brahma Temple. It's a lot more than that. I think people should understand, and if the messages started going through, that Pushkar not only has this, but it has lovely Jain temples, nice Vishnu temple. You have the Savitri temple with a ropeway, and you could spend not 1 but 2 to 3 days there. Also, people don't know is that Pushkar is also famous for rose. The roses in this thing, Pushkar is now. Now, what happens when you try and bring out all these things to the tourists? It makes him stay, and the length of stay becomes longer. Now, in terms of when you are saying that the essence of or spirituality that you're talking about, it is now with the connectivity getting better, Kishangarh Airport working out. What is happening? People not only from Rajasthan, NCR, and other areas, but also from Hyderabad and Indore and other places, because the flights have started. We have people coming in here. And when you get tourists from Hyderabad, other regions, things get better and better. In January, we're having the Dargah Sharif Mela, which is going to happen. So these things are going to take a lot of sort of flow coming in, and we'll be having a lot of catering to these tourists who are coming different types. This should take in terms of it'll upbring the hotels and the delivery that we do. That is what I'm looking at. And what they get to see at Pushkar Mela, it's apart from this cattle fair, the horses, the cattle and all these things, it's also a trading for all these villagers there. So it's a unique blend of both spiritual and trading at Pushkar, which is a must see. People should come and see this place. That is what I would say, right?
Well, thank you. That, from you is a great endorsement for this. But by the way, your property in your backdrop is phenomenal. It's
to talk about IHCL selections.
Yes,
these are some of these hand-picked properties.
Yes,
generally are three themes. There are three themes, which is basically either historic lineage, or it's a linkage to a destination, or it is either the theme of the property itself, which is unique. So in this case, Pushkar, our hotel Pratap Mahal, is more on the linkage of the destination, and that's what we sort of deliver to the guests.
And it's so pretty. If seeing is believing, being there will be even better. Thank you, Divya, for a wonderful response. Yeah. Gaurav, so before we go to the mid part of the session, I have this one question for you. Yeah. Help us navigate the manpower maze and discuss the challenges and strategies in recruiting and retaining skilled personnel amid the demand for high-end service. Hospitality is all about cutting edge, luxury, very classy, very demanding, and in the face luxury.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Bhuvnesh. So, of course, the hotel industry is facing challenges when it comes to recruiting and retaining skilled personnel. The demand for high-end service has increased with the ever-increasing hotel inventory in the market as compared to the supply of talent that is available in the pipeline. So, of course, with the ever-increasing a hotel inventory and as compared to the supply that we have, it becomes very difficult to attract and retain the best employees. Therefore, it is quite important that hospitality business must have a strategic approach towards effective recruitment and retention. So when we talk about recruitment, of course, the old traditional way of investing in online recruitment platforms and job fairs, we should also consider partnering with recruitment firms and job placement services that specialize in hospitality industry. Additionally, we can also consider employee referral incentive programs. And when we focus on hiring freshers, which is also very crucial because of the lack of skilled or talented potential that is there. When we focus on hiring freshers at the frontline level and at the time of interviewing and screening profiles, we look for someone who has great passion for hospitality, has positive attitude, can demonstrate teamwork, and has great career ambition. These are some of the basic competencies that we look for when we are hiring candidate. There is more emphasis given to internal hiring as well. Someone who has the potential to get promoted to the next level. Marriott has a robust succession planning program in place where we identify talent within the company and grow and develop them to do their job well, and of course prepare them for future leadership roles. Having said that, we also invest our time to groom and support our on-job trainees. They are the future of this industry, and further offer them jobs when they complete their 6 months of the training period. If we talk about the retention strategy, it is important that we understand the reasons of employees leaving. So the reasons can be, lack of career progression within the hotel, when employees are not treated fairly, lack of appreciation and recognition, the work-life balance, team members end up working too many hours, for instance. And if there is lack of training, guidance, or support, these are some of the main reasons why employees wants to leave. And of course, there is a competitive salaries and benefit package that somewhere else they might be offered. So we focus on creating an environment that is conducive to employee engagement and satisfaction. And Marriott, for example, has enough programs in place to ensure employee retention. And as a culture, we always put our people first and take care of them. I would want to mention some of these programs as a strategy, a robust succession planning that, as I spoke earlier, life on time is something where employees work strictly 9 hours as a standard. Then there is enough engagement activities for employees throughout the year. We do an Associate Appreciation Week celebration that takes place every year. We have an ocean of training modules on skills and competencies. Then cross training in other departments for employees is one of the recent initiative which is driven by Marriott. And then it is furthermore important that employees are enjoying their work in whatever capacity they are working, and they only enjoy if they are trained enough on the required knowledge and skills to succeed in their role. So a robust training and development support is quite crucial for anyone to do their job well, and he would expect appreciation and recognition, which would in return make them satisfied in their role. Also very important that we listen to employees' feedback and resolve any grievance or issues that they might be facing to perform their job, to perform well in their role. So by taking the time to develop effective recruitment and retention strategies that I just spoke about a few, I think hospitality businesses can ensure they have the skilled personnel they need to provide high-end service.
So that's quite a detailed response, but in short, Gaurav, I think a happy business, a happy location, a happy environment, and a happening environment is a great magnet and soother for longevity and retention of an employee's stay.
Of course.
All right. Thank you so much. So we're at the middle of the show, and I'll take a short 15-second commercial break, and I shall be back immediately after that. Yeah. Thank you, Diversey. Thank you so much. Now, time for me to come back to you, Saurabh. We've got a good show going. Tell me, Gaurav, being a general manager in a hospitality setup is not a very easy job. It's challenging. The opportunities are immense and the growth potential is even better. So tell me about operational challenges for a general manager and how do you navigate the distinctive challenges that a general manager faces in preserving heritage while catering to modern luxury. You're muted, Saurabh.
Right. Thank you, Bhuvnesh. I think it's a fantastic question. That's every general manager faces challenges, especially in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, the challenges are very, very unique. But I think my fellow colleagues have already spoken about, in terms of getting the right talent. So I don't want to, reinvent any of the new challenges which I faced, because personally what I feel from my heart, and whatever I've experienced in last 1.5 years working with Radisson Jodhpur was getting the right talent. As you mentioned, people, the kind of properties that we are running, they are very good in terms of luxury. They're very good in terms of look alike. In terms of giving the heritage, the palatial feel, the luxury, the thing that you look at. And you'd expect, when the people checks in or, comes at the hotel, you want to see those, doormans, the tall Rajasthani doormans, opening your way. When you enter the hotel, you want to see 3-4, front office GREs welcoming you in a sari, with doing Aarti Jika. So to kind of retain that kind of a talent, it becomes really, really, tough. As Gaurav also mentioned, that there are a lot of opportunities in the market, especially in the city hotels. A lot of our talent have been taken, by these guys. So that is one thing, I've really, really, and we have, finding new ways, which I'm also learning, because we have to sustain by hiring freshers, doing a lot of emphasis on training of these staff, because you can only deliver luxury if you are the kind of people that you welcomes you. It's not talking to the kind of product you have, and it will be totally, not very well, suited there. So a lot of local staff, which gives you that warmth of the authenticity of the, like if I talk about the talent in culinary, you want a lot of local chefs who cooks on the streets. Obviously they are not that presentable. You train them in such a way that the kind of taste they're able to deliver, but also in a very, very professional and hygienic looking, like in a 5-star professional way. So we have to teach them those things. So that is one thing which I have faced personally, and have experienced that in Radisson Jodhpur.
Thank you, Saurabh. That's very interesting and a great observation and response. Let me now move in with Jitendra with my second question to you. Picking on culinary, delights of Rajasthan. Shiv has spoken in some detail on this, but we celebrate the diverse and flavorful cuisine, both vegetarian and non-vegetarian, which is unique to your region. If you can say a few words, please. You're muted, sir.
So actually Rajasthan is a very popular for the food. We have a lots of options as a vegetarian, because lots of people are vegetarian in Rajasthan, but lots of people are coming from outside, so they want to try the Rajasthani traditional food. So when we are talking about Lal Mas is a very popular in Rajasthan just because of Mathania chili. Mathania is very close from Jodhpur. That is a very small village. So Rajasthan very popular for the chakki ka saag. It came from the Rasodas, that's a royal family's kitchen, and they are making by gluten, and that is a very tasty. So many things are very popular in every district in Rajasthan, like Rasgulla from Bikaner, Lapsi from Jodhpur, and Makhania, Lassi, and Ghevar, and Namkeen, Mirchi Bada, Kachori, Bajre ka Sogra, and people are very creative. They are making, gawar beans sabji, kachra sabji, And these are very, very tasty, very interesting. And they are providing a very local kind of a traditional experience. Mrs. Siv told earlier, Maki, Rasoda, like that. So people are in what it's according to my observation, people are working since long time in Rajasthan, so they are very consist about the taste. So they know the guest about the guest taste. They know about the cooking, how they are cooking. They are always trying to cook from the heart. So taste are coming from the hand.
Thank you, Jitendra. That's interesting to hear from a local. Let me now come back to you, Shiv. I have a twist for you, and it's about MICE opportunities. Look, MICE is a great business opportunity. Not just about inbound and domestic, not just about weddings, the big fat Indian weddings. MICE, I think, can be bigger. If you can help explore the potential of Jodhpur and Jaisalmer and its counterparts in hosting MICE events, what is your take on that?
So well said in terms of what MICE does to all our properties in Rajasthan. In fact, if I take my resort right now, at an average, I'm getting about 35 to 40% of my business as we speak with MICE. That's a substantial chunk. So it's a make and break for me with every passing month. And plus, it gives me the breather saying that, I have the business on the books because MICE is discussed much in advance. The transient picks up with time. So therefore, that helps us in forecasting as well. So MICE is a lot of verticals in Rajasthan. As you rightly said, that a lot of corporate companies of late are doing events out here. I host pharma business. I host, in fact, as we speak, we have a PSU doing event in the resort. They're doing the annual meet. We also do a lot of automobile industry get-togethers because a lot of testing happens in Rajasthan because of the arid conditions,
Oh, really?
the way things happen out here, plus the desert. They try it over there as well. So all new cars in some form, get tested in some part of Rajasthan. So automobile industry becomes a big industry for us in terms of MICE. So with all these verticals put forward, I think it gives us a kind of a basic, bedrock towards doing business. Plus, we get good rates as well with MICE because when corporates come, they expect a certain degree of sophistication that they're looking at. And therefore, that gives us the bandwidth to explore ourselves with what we have to offer. Like, I'll give you an example right now with a PSU that is doing an event out here. They have the best of performers performing. They have, Ashish Vidyarthi as one of the keynote speakers who have come in. So I think even PSUs to a certain degree are spending money in terms of putting things forward and giving that wonderful exposure to their respective team members and associates. And therefore, all our hotels, including Jaisalmer, becomes a kind of a haven for MICE and helps us to generate that revenue for our budget as well as focus.
Excellent. So tell me, how successful have you been with your MICE pull?
So, the expectation is much more. I keep on pushing my sales team and myself now, saying that, I think we can do a little bit better because if I want to improve my retail, the MICE base has to be stronger. We have a kind of a calling now in the city and other places. But of course, the options are galore. And for Jaisalmer, if I have to say, connectivity becomes a certain chink in the armor on according to flights which are restrictive because you have one flight now from Delhi, Jaipur, Mumbai, and then off season, there are no flights at all. So you have to do road travel. So we have our difficulties in terms of working with corporate to put everything together. At times, financially, there's a constraint in terms of travel. Many times they tell us the travel cost is more than the stay cost, because they're coming from far off places and they have to take multiple flights to come to Jaisalmer. So that becomes a double-edged sword for us in terms of working on the price point to make it more comfortable to their budget. But as we speak right now, from November onwards, all the way till March, I will have a 35 to 40% range of my occupancy coming from MICE. And what I want to do is take it to a 40 to 45. That will be a kind of a safe bet for me, closer to a 50% of MICE business coming through and leaving the rest on retail. But yeah, that is what we're pushing.
From the border, how far are you from the border?
So it takes about 2 hours. So if I take into consideration distance wise, it is about 150 kilometers.
And you head straight into Munabao.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. So we have the SAM road. So
Yeah,
you go straight.
I've seen it from the other side. But tell me, Jaisalmer has a huge draw, because given the sand dunes and the arid weather, like you said, the only parallel you have is perhaps the Middle East,
Yes.
right? So it has its own charm which pulls people, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And I was surprised to see a date farm out here and does so well. The local dates out here, it's like the Middle East, right? As you rightly said, with date farms, with, the camel rides, the safaris that they do. The only thing is
there a seasonality to it?
there is. And that's where I was saying the chink in the armor is because you have 6 months of season and then you have 4 to 5 months, which is very arid, very dry. The temperature soared to a 45 to 50 degrees, that is.
And where
the
does the
range.
occupancy go with that?
So then what we do is we do a lot of business with Army and Air Force that comes in, the military comes in because we have a great military base here in Jaisalmer on account of the border being so close. So we work with their per diems in off season. The occupancy actually comes to less than 50%. Right now, if I'm doing an occupancy of 85 to 90% in season, I will do a 50% occupancy, but the average rate will be very low because I have to match the per diems of the Army and Air Force. But we take that business in off season because we know MICE is all time low. No connectivity is there to Jaisalmer. It's only roadways and retail is again very scanty. So keeping all this in consideration, we play our part with season and off season.
Excellent. So that's a good pick on Jaisalmer and what it can offer. I think we've done some justice to it. Thank you, Shiv. Very detailed. You're a great ambassador for Jaisalmer. Devenderji, if I may come to you now, right, and roll in with my next one.
Tell me.
You know the terrain, you know the region, you know the entire catchment like the backside of your palm, right? You're some kind of an officiando for the industry and for Rajasthan and the location, and of course a great brand ambassador for IHCL. Let's talk about heritage insight tours. If one was to craft unique heritage tours that provide guests with insights into the rich history and cultural significance of the region and what it means for hospitality, right? That is about your guests, about your revenues, about your hotel, and also giving back to the location.
Okay, thank you, Bhuvnesh. I think heritage and these historical walks and all are sort of part of me. I was fortunate to be with the IHCL at Madurai. Another historical and spiritual.
Right on the hill, right on the Madura courts.
Yeah, Pasumalai Hill, we take on.
I remember. I've stayed there.
So I was fortunate to organize and sort of have the initiative to do a heritage walk, that time for CII, which became a sort of a cult hit and it still exists. In short, it was organized from Tiruvaranaikal Palace to the Meenakshi Temple. And I had the fortune to walk with a Madurai Kamraj University professor. So having done that, I find Ajmer and Pushkar the same. And it has a lot of opportunities to do that. We have started or initiated one recently now. Ajmer, apart from being Dargah Sharif and educational hub, there are a lot of small markets inside Ajmer. There's an area called Gol Piao, Purani Mandi, there's Chudi Bazaar. And besides all these places, there are also small eateries local. So we initiated a program wherein when guests have a time, we take them for this walk around. So he gets to see not only how these bangles are made or what cloth is being traded in Ajmer and all the places and what all he can see and eat local food around. It's almost a half-day tour and he can end it or begin with Dargah Sharif. So that is one, we've done that. Secondly, we also started with a rose farming. Rose is something, when you tell people, then they realize suddenly rose plays such an important role up here. So we started taking people for a guided tour to the rose farming, where they get to see all the various stages of the farming and also the products of it, like bulukan or the rose sharbat or rose water. So that's another thing that we've added, because there should be something more than Pushkar and Dargah Sharif. Third, which the hotel does is organizes an Aravalli trek. We take these people around in the early morning and they get to trek and be on top of a hillock, organize a breakfast or a cup of tea for them to sit and watch the sunrise. So there are a lot of tours that we've initiated coming up here, and IHL selection itself is actually a hotel, which every hotel will have its unique experience, which has been organized or conducted at the hotel. I do not know if you are aware or not, IHCL selection hotels also permit and allow pets. So it's a pet-friendly hotel. Let guests know that this is a policy here, and we provide not only pet minders to our guests, so they can, leave the pet at the hotel and go and take a spin around in the hotel and a tour. So they are not sort of burdened by the pet.
Excellent. Excellent. That is so good. Yeah, no, this is brilliant. Because we all have pets and we'd never leave them alone with anybody. So we have minders, but we look after them ourselves.
I agree.
Right. So for instance, in the last 20 years, either the pets have gone with us or one of us has stayed back with them. And despite these domestic helps that we have, great stuff, Devenderji. But yeah, I think this is excellent. I'll talk about, after the next response, I'll speak about Rajasthan and the location. Thank you, sir.
Sure, thank you.
Gaurav, if I may circle back to you, last but not the least, and I've tried packing two questions for you. One taking in from your last one, career growth in heritage hospitality. If you can help examine the career trajectory for professionals who have honed their skills in the unique settings of Jodhpur, Jaisalmer, Ajmer, and Pushkar.
Thank you, Bhuvnesh. To begin with, one must learn and understand the culture and history of the region. I mean, Rajasthan has a rich heritage and vibrant culture that has evolved over centuries. Knowing the culture and history of the state will help to understand the needs and expectations of the guest, understand the local customs and traditions, local cuisines, and one has to be prepared to offer a culturally immersive experience to the guest. And secondly, to ensure that they provide the best possible service. Rajasthan is a home to some of the best hospitality providers in the world and also have developed a reputation for delivering excellent service. So one has to be courteous, knowledgeable, and always willing to go an extra mile to ensure that the guests have a memorable experience.
So also tell me about, navigating the royal landscape. If you can offer some insights and lessons for newcomers entering the hospitality scene in these heritage-rich cities like Jodhpur, Jaisalmer, Ajmer, and Pushkar.
So yeah, like I said, Rajasthan is a home to some of the best hospitality providers in the world, and they have a reputation for delivering excellent service. So one has to be courteous and knowledgeable about the local cuisine, and the traditions and the culture. People visit, our guests visit Rajasthan to have destination weddings, and also to experience the local specialities of food. So having knowledge about the cuisines and the culture is quite crucial for anybody who wants to work in Rajasthan in the hospitality industry.
Yeah, the opportunities are immense, and for the ones who are ready to carve a niche for themselves in the industry, I think sky is the limit, and Rajasthan is the perfect ground to be in, because along with Goa and Kerala, Rajasthan competes for the number one slot, and I think it's occupied that slot for a long while. And within Rajasthan, Rajasthan is a complete package. It's a complete bundle of offerings and opportunities. You know, you talk about the weathers, it's got all the weathers. It's got winters, it's got arid, it's got all the food. You talk about vegetarian, non-vegetarian. And more than anything else, rich for cultures. You look at Pushkar, सारे रंग दिखते हैं.
Correct.
Right? And all the food and some of the most humble, grounded, warm and welcoming people
Yes.
this side of the equator. Simple.
Correct.
You know, and if I was to say, Shiv would agree with me, Devendra would agree with me, all of you would, right? For me, that is a huge draw to keep coming back to.
Correct. Correct.
So all in all, Rajasthan has got all it takes to put it right at the top and stay there and occupy that place. Let me just thank Diversey before I get into the closing part of the show. Thank you again, Diversey. Now, before I cap the show and before I come to you all to thank you, let me just, with your permission, sum up the show. You know, as we conclude our exploration, we emphasize the role of general managers in crafting unique and unforgettable experiences for guests, encouraging them to share their vision for the future. We envision a landscape where innovation harmonizes with heritage, offering guests a timeless escape. This episode extends an invitation to experience firsthand the magic of Rajasthan's heritage, where every corner is steeped in history, culture, and the grandeur of luxury hospitality. Luxury, given the setting of Rajasthan, is an accompaniment, right? The Maharaja, where else would you see the Maharajas, the entire royalty, the games of polo, the Lal Mas, the vegetarian food, and all the fairs, like Devendra ji summed up, Shiv spoke about, right? So Jitendra spoke about, and Gaurav, you sit in Pushkar, where the action is, Saurabh, I think your screen is off. So yeah, thank you all. Let me now get in and thank you all. There's something wrong with Saurabh, he's not there. Saurabh, thank you for being there. Yeah, it's been a wonderful show, our first one together. Jitendra, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right, thank you for being there. Shiv, really happy to have you here. Devendra ji, thank you so much. Your inputs have been fantastic. And you're a great brand ambassador for Brand Rajasthan, being a local. And Gaurav, thank you so much. An outsider like Shiv or Saurabh, you come in over here and you carve a niche for yourself and give back to Rajasthan tourism in more manners than one. And also, let me also thank Team BW, who make it possible for us to bring these shows day in and day out. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. It was nice to have you. Thank you, fellow
for gracing our
panelists.
platform. Thank you. Thank you, Shiv, Saurabh, Gaurav, Devendra ji.
Thank you, everyone.